From Learfield, this is the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters, a fun casual joint, and brought to you statewide by Encova Insurance, the American Dairy Association Mideast, and by Credit Union of Ohio on the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics. Now, along with Coach Jake Diebler and former Ohio State captain Ron Stokes, here's the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels.
Well, while everybody's still thinking about football and playoffs and all of that, basketball certainly is very much a priority here at Ohio State as the Buckeyes come off of their 80-66 win Saturday over Rutgers. Jake, I know you had to be just thrilled to see the way guys responded and the way guys began the game on Saturday.
Yeah, we came out in attack mode. That's something we had talked about post-Maryland game, where we weren't in attack mode to start the game, which was really disappointing because that's not who we are and that's not what we work on. So to see our guys, really take that to heart, we certainly practiced that way leading into it. And I thought Bruce Thornton led it. He was more aggressive to start the game, which is really important for us.
Coach, when you look at Bruce Thornton, he's so important to your team, and I like when the best players or the best player takes that type of initiative. What are some of the things that you shared with him leading into the game about being more aggressive?
Well, I think, when we left or as we were leaving Maryland, I pulled him aside and said, hey, this team needs you to help set the tone. At this point in your career, you can't kind of allow the game necessarily maybe to come to you and feel it out, particularly when we're on the road. And so, Bruce is so coachable, and we talked about just aggressiveness and talked about some, specific points of the start of the game where he maybe should have been more aggressive. And, he clearly came out with that mindset, which he's got to continue to do for us.
Well, it's two parts, right? He's coachable, but he has a talent to do it.
That helps, Ron. That helps. There's no question.
And certainly when you have a player like that who can affect everybody else on the team, that has to be another gigantic added bonus, Jake.
Yeah, well, I think he's got great feel in those situations. That's why it's easy to tell him to be aggressive, because being aggressive doesn't necessarily mean going and shooting every time, right? It's putting pressure on the defense, causing a rotation, and then reading that situation and circumstance really well. That's what he does. He reads those situations and circumstances well, and I think it's contagious. When he's doing it, it opens up things for everybody to then kind of follow his lead.
Coach, when you look at coaches that have established themselves in the Big Ten, like Coach Pico at Rutgers, they have a certain way that they play. They deployed some defenses that showed zone, went to man. How did you evaluate how your team dealt with that and recognized some of those things?
Yeah, I thought, outside of maybe that initial one or two possessions, we anticipated seeing some different defenses because, he's got a history of mixing it up, and some of his defensive resume over the years has been, some of the very best defenses in the country. So we had a great deal of respect going into this game. Their offense has certainly been really good this year, but we had a great deal of respect for his defense. And, we were a little hesitant to execute what we had discussed at first, maybe possession 2, but then we settled in and did really well against it. And I didn't feel like the changing defense really, stymied us.
Is that where composure, we've seen it from Bruce Thornton, but composure for other guys is a big part of that, Jake?
Well, I think having the veteran backcourt, that we have with Michi and Micah certainly playing a role in that is helpful. And, Evan Mahaffey and Devin Royal, those guys are getting more and more comfortable. I think Evan's experience is certainly beneficial in times like that. But, a lot of times right now, and what we're seeing is the importance of taking what we practice and going out and executing it with consistency during the game. Not, maybe for portions or taking too long to do it, but doing it right away and then doing it with some consistency. Certainly you're not going to be perfect. There's going to be some breakdowns, but we showed great improvement last game in that aspect. That was a good sign of growth, and we got to continue to grow in that area.
Yeah, against Rutgers, Coach, your team shot 55% from the field as a team, and then you look at this one stat is probably a big reason, 46 points in the paint. Just how did that happen? Why was your team so successful in being effective down close to the basket?
Well, we felt like, and we've been talking about this for some time, about playing through the paint. Doesn't mean we're going to shoot all our shots in the paint, right? Because the three-point lines have been really good good to us. But teams know the three-point line has been good to us, and they know that we can make shots from the perimeter. So we're seeing teams, schematically try to take that away. And instead of maybe settling for harder threes, we're having success taking advantage of the paint maybe being a little more open. Or I think the other thing we're growing in is when we do get there, instead of forcing up something tough, we move it, and then we're sometimes getting a second paint touch within a possession, which has been really good for us if you look at the analytics behind that. So we want to continue to do that. We certainly don't want to shy away from being aggressive beyond the three-point line because we're good at it. But I think those paint touches have been really beneficial.
Is that where the ball movement is so key?
Ball movement, absolutely. I still feel like, Paul, we're not playing with as much pace as I would like us to play with. We're gonna work on that, really hard over these next couple weeks. But pace in the half court helps. Ball movement helps. Quick decision making, all of that stuff plays a factor.
Okay.
And when you get to that point, as far as pace, can that lead to secondary breakaway opportunities? Yeah,
a lot of times, certainly running hard, advancing the ball, making early attacks and the clock helps with the pace. But I think, oftentimes it is that secondary action because that initial push maybe causes a rotation or a mismatch. And when you get the ball to that next action, which for us could be a ball screen, could be a dribble handoff, now you have the defense maybe, on their heels, which opens up something for that second action.
Okay. If you have a question for Coach Diebler, you can submit it to our Union Home Mortgage inbox at ohiostatebuckeyes.com and click on Coach's Show inbox, Union Home Mortgage. Learn about their 1% down payment program at uhm.com and MLS number 2229. And more of today's show presented by Roosters coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Ready?
It doesn't matter if you're playing hard or working hard. Your workout only works out if you recover right. Chocolate milk helps you recover for what comes next. It's delicious and contains the right mix of protein and carbs to help refuel exhausted muscles. From biking to bench presses, Milk's protein helps you build lean muscle and gain more from your workouts.
Ready? Recover. Repeat. Brought to you by the American Dairy Association Mideast, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Cheers to a great day and this ice-cold Corona.
You know what would make this day even better? My grandma's carne asada.
Or your grandma here with us, making carne asada.
She does love a cold Corona.
Throw in some dancing.
Oh, we can watch the game.
I'll drink to that.
So a backyard concert with football, food, dancing, and Corona?
And your grandma.
Or we could keep it simple.
Simple is good. Want a Corona?
Thanks. Salud to the perfect day.
Corona, la vida más fina. Get your Corona at ordercorona.com. Relax responsibly. Corona Extra Beer, imported by Crown Import, Chicago, Illinois.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance is prepared for what's next and protects what matters most to you. With independent insurance agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova Insurance is an easy win for your peace of mind. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you.
AgPro has been family-owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
Hey basketball fans, Credit Union of Ohio wants to help you score more by making life more affordable. It's time to play with a team that helps you win every day. Credit Union of Ohio's loan rates have dropped to provide affordable financing for the things you want and need. It's time to reevaluate your current loans and consider refinancing with a team that cares about you. Check out current specials and get started scoring more money at cuofohio.org. That's cuofohio.org. NCUA insured, equal housing lender.
Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Seller. Growing up in the family business, I've seen firsthand the joy and love that comes with finding the perfect engagement ring. For over 77 years, our family's been dedicated to providing the best quality, unmatched selection, and the guaranteed best price. From timeless classics to custom designs, we have the perfect ring for every love story. Let our family help you celebrate the moments that mean the most. Visit Diamond Seller today on Salmo Road or at Easton Town Center.
Your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan. You're listening to the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network. Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Time now for today's Elk and Elk injury report as Ohio State comes off the Rutgers game and gets ready to play next against Auburn on Saturday in Atlanta. And as we talk about all of this, Jake, anything you can update us about regarding the status of Aaron Bradshaw at this point?
Yeah, so Aaron is back with our team after the university concluded its process. Now there's going to be a return to play aspect that, we're going to have to start evaluating right away, and there's no firm timeline, right, for what that looks like, but he will be back with our team. And, as far as, anything regarding the process, we can't comment further on the university's process, but that's the latest update.
All right. And the guys that have been banged up, like Quest Glover and Colin White, anything you can add regarding those guys moving forward?
Yeah, trending in a positive direction. We don't have a firm, return date yet for those guys. We also have a couple guys, that are banged up a little bit. We obviously have some time between now and our Auburn game to get healthy. It's been a challenging part for this team. We've had we've missed a lot of time and a lot of practice time. We've had some guys, and this, not everybody knows and realizes this, and it's not exclusive to us, but we've had some guys that have stepped up and played in some games who haven't had a normal prep or practice routine leading into it. And so that's been a challenge as well. But I'm excited when you look at this window we have here leading into our next round of conference play. This is a great time for us to grow as a team, and that's what we are going to fight to get the results we want, absolutely. But we got to keep growing and getting better to get ready for Big Ten play.
Our injury report brought to you by Elk and Elk, the injury lawyers at Elk and Elk, proud sponsors of Ohio State Athletics. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. And when you have this gap this week, too, is this also where the academic stuff kind of gets finalized and taken care of as well, Jake?
We are finishing up finals, and it's a busy time on campus for all Buckeyes as they finish up finals. And, appreciate really the students that showed up to our Rutgers game, because I thought the crowd was great, and I said this after the game. You could feel their energy impact, I think, the second half, and then help propel us, to finish that game the way we did. So, big thanks to particularly the students who came, during the final time. But yeah, our guys are finishing things up, and then there's a stretch of no class, which gives you a little more flexibility to really, like I said, focus in on that growth period.
Coach, I'm going to go back to that transition and without Bradshaw now having him back. I guess there could be some good in this from a standpoint. While he was out, you had a chance to play some guys maybe a little bit more, and they can develop some confidence. But my question is more so like, will there be a transition to get him back into the lineup from a standpoint of did you play a little differently without him being in there? And I say that I go back to when Greg Oden didn't play the first 8 or 9 games, and the Ohio State offense was more guard-oriented. But then when Greg came back, then they had to integrate him back in, obviously because of how good he is. Is that something you got to deal with, that you have to change a little bit differently with your style without having Bradshaw now that you're going to be able to bring him back?
Well, I was there firsthand, front row to witness Greg's return as a player. And I specifically remember that game changing rather quickly when he checked into the game. I think it was somewhat close until that moment. But, I think for us, teams adjust, right, and schemes adjust. There's not wholesale changes necessarily made at this point of the season, but I do think there's value in the experience some of our other guys have been able to get, and I think guys it's helped them grow, certainly. I think for us there's some things that we missed from a rebounding and size, certainly, but schematically, we've made some adjustments, certainly, and he'll need to get caught up. But I think for us, I don't anticipate any like major wholesale changes at this point in time. We just got to keep getting better at our foundation and keep building that. I think for me, even at times, I forget all the newness, that we have in our program, and so we got to keep growing. Getting him kind of reacclimated is a part of that growth, that we need to do over these next couple weeks.
And for those who weren't aware of it, Jake, you were on the Valparaiso team that Greg played in. The only game that Greg ever came off the bench.
Yeah.
in his 1 year here.
That is right, and I hope no one goes to reference the box score of that game.
Let me look that up.
Don't do that, Ryan.
I won't, Coach.
Or reference the face mask.
The stat sheet doesn't always tell the whole story. Now you know that, Coach.
That's a huge part of my career, Ron. Is the stat sheet not telling the whole story? There's no doubt about that.
Oh goodness. So in talking about what you were just saying, Jake, without Aaron Bradshaw around, if you would speak to how a guy like Austin Parks has benefited from the time and has taken advantage of the time.
Yeah, listen, I thought Austin Parks, and I said this to our team, I thought he played his best, game in a Buckeye uniform last game. And you may not look at the stat sheet and that just be the first thing that comes to mind. But I felt like he played with a toughness, played with an effort and an energy that really was contagious there for a little bit. So him getting kind of that experience was good for him, and it helps us. There's no question about it. And the more guys, and certainly we're talking specifically about the front court, but I think you're seeing it, as we've dealt with different injuries and things, the more guys can get experience, it certainly helps our overall depth once we're able to get, our whole group back together. But I was really, really proud of Austin, and I think what he's done the last couple weeks, how he's approached the last, 2 to 3 weeks, I was just really happy for him to get some validation in the hard work, the extra time, the extra film, all that stuff paying off.
Hey, the one thing that I always point to, and I value being a former point guard, is guys being ready for the basketball. Mm-hmm. And Paul and I talked about it during the broadcast, that it seemed like every pick and roll, every situation, he was ready for the ball. Yep. So that's part of it, being ready for it. Then obviously he has to finish. But what's part of that development with him? Was he always like that in high school, or how has he grown in being effective in that regard?
Yeah, well, I think Listen, he was well coached in high school, but he didn't necessarily get to play against a lot of bigger guys. And so now that he's had a full year under his belt, right, and now we're going into year 2. But I think we always anticipate. We saw a lot of really, really good tools in a foundation. I anticipated, and hadn't been recruiting him. I anticipated there being this transition period that could take some time, because he was in some high school games playing against guys that were like 8 inches shorter than him. So now he's going against guys who may be taller or more athletic or a little bit longer. So I think the speed and the size that he's seeing consistently is if the game to me looked to slow down just a little bit for him last game. And I think that's why he was able to be produce when he caught it in the paint, but certainly his execution of our ball screen coverage was better. It's if it can continue to do that, it'll really help him.
It's interesting when I talk to people about when I say the game slows down, and like, what are you talking about, Ron? I said, when you're a freshman, it's like everything's going 100 miles an hour out there, and that leads to getting going the action off the screen where you causes your big to be called for a moving screen because the guard goes too fast, or you don't run the set the appropriate way. But when that thing starts to slow down, where it's like in slow motion at times, it really starts to become fun.
Yeah, well, you got to figure, right, and whether you played in some of the best high school leagues in the country or played elite level summer ball, everybody's older, bigger, faster, stronger at the next level, and so you're being pressured more. You're defenses are trying to speed you up. They're trying to make you uncomfortable. You have to make decisions quicker. The windows that you're used to reading are smaller, and so space closes quicker. It's all of these things. When we talk about the game slowing down, I think a lot of it is just getting more comfortable in those kind of split moments where you can read the game at the pace you're used to. Right now, a lot of freshmen have to read the game at a faster pace. You have to get better at that, and you do have to read the game at a faster pace. But once you do, then it feels more like it used to. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what we're seeing. And sometimes it's sophomores. Sometimes the sophomores who don't get a ton of experience as a freshman. I think that's what we're starting to see with Austin.
Is that where it's so crucial to mimic things in practice, game-type situations, as much as you can?
Yeah. I think the situational stuff, certainly, when you start to look at end of game, end of half, you have to practice that, because some high school players come, from a state without a shot clock. And so that plays a factor. Some high school players are used to being in a different position under those situations where now they may have to do something else, or we may have multiple coverages that guys need to be prepared to do in those situations. So it takes a lot of practice.
Roosters wants to congratulate the 12 lucky prize winners in this year's Roosters Buckeye giveaway and say thank you to all the loyal Buckeye fans who help make Roosters a fun, casual joint. Be sure to visit @RoostersWings on Facebook or Instagram for the list of prize winners. And we'll have more with Coach Diebler when we continue on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill, when your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End of friendship. Or choose chill, because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway, and you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at Safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite repair, Safelite replace.
Get ready, Buckeye fans. Donato's just added something special to the pizza playbook. Introducing Donato's new Block O pizza. Donato's golden thin crust cut in that trademark Block O shape, loaded with crispy pepperoni, smoked provolone cheese, and Buckeye Spirit. It's the perfect pizza for game day or any day in Buckeye country. Now get a Block O pizza for just $10 with any pizza purchase. Order today with the Donato's app or at donatos.com.
Every game, every season, Buckeye Nation comes together to support Ohio State basketball. The Buckeyes make their fans proud by giving it their all on the court. Their hard work, determination, and resilience embody what our state is all about. Every client, every day, Elk & Elk works tirelessly to support the great people of Ohio. A consistent winner in the courtroom, we get injury victims the compensation they deserve. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Elk & Elk, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeye fans celebrate all kinds of game day traditions. The most delicious ones begin at Giant Eagle and Market District, where you can always enjoy the perks of game day. Get ready for kickoff with fresh and prepared foods from Giant Eagle and Market District, or fuel up and grab snacks and drinks on your way to watch the game. You'll earn perks and save no matter where you stop. Giant Eagle, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Fan, Ohio sports destination. Now back to the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Union Home Mortgage is the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Learn about their 1% down payment program at UHM.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS number 2229. And welcome back to our show this week. Ohio State next plays Saturday against Auburn in Atlanta. That'll be a 1 o'clock tip-off. We'll start with some of our Union Home Mortgage inbox list of questions. Jamie in Mansfield asking, do you find the teams that you either played on or coached seem to take things up a notch when facing a top team like you're going to go up against on Saturday?
I think you see that across college basketball. Specifically, we'd like to put our best foot forward, right, regardless of opponent. But I think, in games like that, and you go in an NBA arena in this circumstance, or you go on the road and there's a heightened level of, energy. And, we're really excited to play finish the non-conference schedule that we built. It's certainly been really challenging and going to continue to be, but this is a great opportunity for us.
Coach, when you look at certain games with teams with different styles, it prepares you for the Big Ten. What does Auburn do that potentially could help you with some opponents in the Big Ten?
Well, they shoot the three really well, and they can score and score really well from both the interior, right, and the perimeter. So they run multiple actions. You're going to have to guard multiple actions this game. That certainly is great prep. But, you can – they're not a one-dimensional team, which you really don't see in our league either. So having the multiple pieces that can score it. And they will they're a tough defensive team, so that certainly helps prepare you as well.
When you have a big guy like Broom, at least based on their game yesterday, that passes the ball the way he does, is that kind of a key element to a game that you have to be ready for and that you would hope to mimic from your big guys too? Yeah,
he's really talented. His versatility is impressive. And, I think you're seeing an example too of a transfer, a multi-year transfer, who's, settled into a system that suits him really well, and he's taking full advantage of it and playing really, really well at a high level. And the other thing, is passing certainly well, but his ability to rebound the ball on the offensive end is really, really helpful for them and going to be really critical for us to keep him off the glass.
Coach, you mentioned about him transferring into Auburn and really playing well in this next year, this year for him. But I'm going to go back to Meechie Johnson. I know in the post game you talked about how important he was, his play in helping your team to win that basketball game. One of the things I noticed when I rewatched the game, he deferred a number of times where he had an open shot, but he passed it to a teammate that may have been more open per se. And it seemed like he kind of simplified some things and just talk about how efficient he was, especially during that crucial stretch in the second half.
Yeah, I thought his poise was really good, Ron, and we talk a lot about in our program about going, good to great. Maybe taking a good or really semi-good shot and turning it into a really good one or a great one. And it's hard, right, to do that when you have so many new pieces together, guys who haven't necessarily played, significant minutes together. And it's also hard to do that when you have a lot of talented pieces. And so I thought, he made some really, really critical decisions that were great for us in the second half. You don't want him to certainly hesitate, right, when he's open because, we know he can make shots, but I thought his poise offensively was really good for us.
His disruption on defense just as big too.
Yeah, he got into the ball, pressured the ball better, was more impactful in his ball screen coverage, and challenged him with that, and he did it, and he did it well.
Coach, I want to go back to the comment you made about teams will try to speed up, especially young players, and we all know John Mobley's an incredible shooter. It's no secret that it's important to keep him off that three-point line. What are you seeing teams are doing to him to try to get him off rhythm?
Yeah, well, I think they're running at him right on the catch, and that's if he's able to get separation. Like teams aren't leaving him even when he doesn't have the ball. And I thought you saw in the Rutgers game, they even shifted one of their best defenders onto him. So he and I have talked about that. Like he's going to get that level of attention, and he's earned that. Even before, he had the game against Texas or some of these loud moments, he and I talked about it before that because we anticipated him, being a gifted player. So right now, he's, at times he's getting sped up, but him driving the ball is good for us too, Ron. I think he's got a really, really good ability to read the game. And as the game slows down, that's going to be even more obvious. So I've just told him, hey, there's a couple times where you catch it. I'd even be okay if you can, slow down a little bit and let us get to a ball screen for you and things like that, because I think he can make really good decisions.
Now, as it relates to him dealing with this additional pressure, having a better defensive player guarding him, how do you just make sure as a freshman he doesn't get frustrated? Because there's a reason why he's not open, because he's effective. So, but you don't want him to get frustrated and stay positive.
Yeah, he's got to stay aggressive. He can't hesitate because, what becomes really important is when he does find a little bit of space, he's got to take advantage of it, right? He's not going to get a ton of opportunity to get loose. So when he does even a little bit, he's got to be ready and be aggressive. Now, we're gonna really get to work today even, and we have been working, but we're going to take it up a notch to help him get open, work on that, simulate some of the coverages he's going to see. And so I think, listen, he's got many, many, many big moments ahead of him this year for us, and he's got to stay aggressive because his aggressiveness, I believe, is really good for our team because I trust him with the ball. I trust his decision-making.
We've seen shooters in the past be able to shoot on the catch, but is he just as good shooting off the bounce too?
Yeah, and if he probably tried to kick it, Paul, he'd probably be pretty good at shooting off the foot too. He is not a specialist, and that was obvious recruiting him to me. It's been obvious, since he's been here. He's a complete offensive player, in my opinion. And, yeah, he's been sped up some at times, and that's to be expected. But I also trust his feel and instincts that that's gonna happen less and less for him.
Coach, when you look at how pure he is from shooting the ball and just looking at his history while you were recruiting him, where did it start? Like, what was that one thing? Was it just somebody got him young and helped him with his footwork and his technique and so forth? I know it's God-given what he has, being able to see that rim and make those shots, but where did it all start for him?
Well, I think, his dad has played a really important role in his development. And, when I first started recruiting him, it's funny. He had a reputation kind of around Columbus, even before he was of recruiting age, of just, there's this really young guy. He's a little small, but, man, he makes everything he throws up there. And, I think his dad, along with some other guys that he's have been in his life for an extended period of time, have played an important role. But, the one thing about John is he works. And he's worked really from the time he picked up a ball. He's always worked and just outworked people. So I think he's earned this, without question.
What do you like about what he's done defensively?
Yeah, well, I think his growth on the defensive side, and we've had to challenge him with that, is we've seen the most improvement on the ball. He's getting into the ball better and able to provide some pressure and staying in front of the ball better. And he's not facing any defensive struggles that freshmen most freshmen face, right? So the biggest thing I think is, off ball, guarding off ball actions, being in positioning off the ball. That's our big challenge for him. And he's shown improvement in that too. He's got to continue to grow. There's no question. But the one thing I know about him, he competes. And he's going to play. He's going to play with toughness. So that's a great place to start.
We'll talk more with Coach Diebler when we continue with our weekly show presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
When it comes to your cancer diagnosis, the choice for your care is clear.
And when you choose the James at Ohio State,
you're opting for care from a highly specialized team dedicated to treating one type of cancer, yours.
Where more than 1,700 scientists are working on new treatments and new hope for every form of cancer.
You're making the choice to have the most advanced treatments, many of which were developed right here.
For your cancer care, the choice is clear. The James at Ohio State.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
Union Home Mortgage knows Buckeye fans never leave Ohio State behind. We've helped millions of first-time home buyers get into their dream home through our 1% down payment program. Put as little as 1% down, and UHM tosses in up to 2% on the house. Learn more at UHM.com or call 877-846-4968. Union Home Mortgage Corp is an equal housing opportunity lender. NMLS number 2229. UHM will contribute up to 2% down, no greater than $2,000 towards a 3% down payment. Home buyers responsible for the remainder of the down payment. This offer is available for the purchase of a primary residence only. For full terms and conditions, visit UHM.com. For more than 35 years, Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse has been known by Buckeye Nation as serving the best steaks in the city. Our thick-cut, aged steaks have been a staple in Columbus with 3 locations, in Upper Arlington, Dublin, and downtown. Hyde Park is proud to introduce our newly added wine room at the downtown Columbus location, where a new elegance in dining will surround you. And coupled with live entertainment every weekend, Hyde Park will be the perfect setting for any occasion or the perfect night out. Hyde Park is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
When you share your food, you share your heart. So what's on your table this holiday season? Save on your festive feast at Kroger with delicious deals on all the holiday classics. Or wow the crowd with something new, like a quinoa stuffed butternut squash. It's sure to add a pop of color to your spread. How about a sweet potato casserole with a crunchy oat streusel topping, made with care for the sweet tooth and the savory tooth? With Kroger, fill your table with love and watch as your guests' hearts get as full as their bellies. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint. With their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind or grab a carryout. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizza, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Your Ohio State flagship station, The Fan. Your home for Buckeye basketball. This is the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network. Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
The Foundation is operating a 50-50 raffle at each Ohio State home men's basketball game this season, with proceeds supporting community-based NIL opportunities and the Foundation charities. For more information on how you can participate, visit the Foundation social media channels.
Wait a minute, Paul. I got something for Skip. I think I brought this up last year. Who do I talk to about the intro? Can I get some Motown, man? Huh? Can I get some Motown? We can work on that.
Intro music you're talking about?
Yeah, coming into the break.
I like that, Ron. Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great.
We'll get right on there's nothing else going on. Nothing else to have to deal with. Jake, we have to ask about Devin Royal, with the way he played, not only Saturday, but really the last 4 or 5 games, the way he's played and how consistent he's become.
Yeah, listen, I've been really, really proud of what Devin has done, but also impressed with just how consistent he's been with his approach. And, I think, again, you're talking about he's a young player still and who didn't have a ton of experience last year. So to see what he's been able to do has been impressive. And he's a guy, quite honestly, who's overcome some things even these last few weeks from an availability at practice and things, and to see the toughness he showed. I've been really happy for him, because he has taken his preparation and his work up a whole nother level, really since the fall. And, we're seeing a great deal of benefit, certainly him personally, but our team has really benefited from it.
Now, you mentioned this as it relates to Austin Parks. When you're in high school and you're always the biggest guy, and sometimes who you're playing against is not challenging you per se for development. And I know it happens sometimes for a guy like Devin Royal, even in his own internal practices, like day-to-day, who's challenging him in practice. What advice do you give kids who are in that same situation, Coach, where they're in practice trying to challenge themselves to get better? What can you do as a high school kid to kind of make up for that, if anything?
Yeah, well, I think, listen, you can certainly, outside of maybe your specific team or season, in the off season, you can seek kind of opportunity to play against and spar, so to speak, with veteran players, older guys. Devin's done that. He's done that throughout the city, for years. There's some great, the basketball community in Columbus is awesome. And there's a lot of veterans, guys who have ton of experience, whether it's overseas in the NBA. And the thing that I've always been most impressed with is there's this culture of giving back and kind of helping young players develop, including, there will be like games going on in the city where vets, pros, maybe retired pros are including some high school players in some of those open runs, and college players in some of their open runs. So I think that's pretty cool. Devin's been a part of that, certainly. But I think, when you're in that practice, when you're in that season, you got to focus on what you can control. You got to focus on the things you can control. You can't maybe necessarily simulate size, athleticism all the time, but your effort, your energy, your consistency, your attention to detail, those are things you can control. And the better you do those things, that's all part of helping you be a really good college player when you get that opportunity.
Now, with all the improvement with Devin Rowe, what are some of the top two things that you just saw that he worked on in the summer, and it's just glaring that he's better?
Yeah, well, he's worked really hard on his touch and his shooting, and I think there was a stretch there where he and I had to sit down and say, hey, you've worked hard to improve on this, but you can't change who you are. We want to add to what you do well, not change your game. And I think that was a turning point for him when he realized, okay, here's some things that, like, I got to stick to my roots maybe, but also, add to it. And listen, what we've asked him to do this season is different than what he did last year and what he did in high school, as far as catching the ball on the perimeter more times and having to be in some ball handling situations. So there was always going to be a transition period for him regarding that, just from a scheming standpoint, because we want more space, we want more pace. But listen, I think there's some things about Devin that he came into Ohio State with that he had, throughout his high school career. Great touch around the rim and traffic, physicality, rebounding, production. And he's done that for us, at really a high level.
Has his rebounding on the offensive glass been part of that?
Yeah, it's an important part for us, too. He's been our best offensive rebounder. And, not on the stat sheet is the amount of times he's gotten fouled going to the offensive glass. And that's been important, too. So he's got to continue to be consistent with that. I can't remember which game, but it might have been the Pitt game where he didn't rebound as particularly well defensively, and he's been really good since then. So,
yeah, Coach, I don't know how scientific you get with this, but, some guys have a great feel for the game. They can see the ball coming off the rim, and they just go get it. But is there anything that you do to, like, hey, if it's being shot from this side, it's typically going to come this way? Or how do you help guys be better rebounders?
Yeah, well, I think there is some of that, Ron, like, in this – stat's been out there, right, for decades. Like, if the ball's shot on this side, it's most likely going to go off on that side, right? So there's certainly that part of that still holds true. And there's analytics behind, some of that. I think, although that is important to me, the most important things in rebounding are effort, right? Effort and physicality. And you got to have the guys who are great rebounders. It's not an initial effort. It's like a second effort, because you're going to get hit on that initial effort, and then how you respond to that hit and bounce off that. And there's technique and things that you can do to help. But then also there is some instincts involved here. Like that's a factor too, and he has those. Like, he has the instincts, he has the motor. He's got size and length, and he's a quick jumper, and so. Yeah, he works on it. We work on it, but I don't want to take away from some of the natural gifts and really just effort he puts into it.
Was Saturday's game a sign of Sean Stewart being able to help with rebounding with 7 of them in that same category? Yeah, I thought Sean did really good last game. He's continuing, again, another guy who's benefiting from the more experience he can get, the better. Lacked significant experience last year. And different system, unlike Devin being at least having some familiarity, still differences, but some. Sean's in a completely new environment. So I think he's going to continue to get better and more consistent, and his rebounding is important for us. We'll have more with Jake when we continue with our weekly show presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield. Hey, Buckeye Nation, Paul Keels here for my other favorite nation, Window Nation. If you're a fan of scoring, you're going to love this. Window Nation is going nuts with an incredible offer just for you. Buy 2 windows. Get 2 windows free plus 0 down and 0 payments with 0 interest for 2 years. And if you order a full house of windows, you'll be part of a full house at the Shoe with tickets to a Buckeye game. Call Window Nation today at 866-90-NATION or visit them online at windownation.com. Tell them Paul sent you for the Buckeyes Full House Special.
Hey, Ohio State fan, are you ready for game day? Get hyped and get your crew going with the Buckeye Meal at BK. For $20, you'll get 1 juicy flame grill Whopper sandwich, 1 original chicken sandwich, 2 mouthwatering cheeseburgers, 3 crispy golden small fries, and 3 refreshing small drinks. Grab your $20 Buckeye Meal today and share the taste of victory. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. Tax extra. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Union Home Mortgage knows Buckeye fans never leave Ohio State behind. We've helped millions of first-time home buyers get into their dream home through our 1% down payment program. Put as little as 1% down, and UHM tosses in up to 2% on the house. Learn more at UHM.com or call 877-846-4968. Union Home Mortgage Corp is an equal housing opportunity lender. NMLS number 2229. UHM will contribute up to 2% down, no greater than $2,000 towards a 3% down payment. Home buyers responsible for the remainder of the down payment. This offer is available for the purchase of a primary residence only. For full terms and conditions, visit UHM.com.
At Ohio State, we are the never afraid to innovate teams, the agile, get it done teams, the achieve more together teams, and the improve people's lives teams. Together, we are the Ohio State University.
Learn more about Ohio State at osu.edu/impact.
Hey, basketball fans, Credit Union of Ohio wants to help you score more by making life more affordable. It's time to play with a team that helps you win every day. Credit Union of Ohio's loan rates have dropped to provide affordable financing for the things you want and need. It's time to reevaluate your current loans and consider refinancing with a team that cares about you. Check out current specials and get started scoring more money at cuofohio.org. That's cuofohio.org. NCUA insured, equal housing lender.
Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. Growing up in the family business, I've seen firsthand the joy and love that comes with finding the perfect engagement ring. For over 77 years, our family's been dedicated to providing the best quality, unmatched selection, and the guaranteed best price. From timeless classics to custom designs, we have the perfect ring for every love story. Let our family help you celebrate the moments that mean the most. Visit Diamond Cellar today on Sawmill Road or at Easton Town Center.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint. With their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind or grab a carryout. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizza, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. You're listening to the Jake Diebler Show, presented by Roosters on the Ohio State Sports Network. Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeyes are known for paying it forward. That's why Buckeyes Care strives to serve the betterment of our community by positively impacting families across Ohio. Joint partners American Electric Power, Kroger, Donato's, the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the James Cancer Hospital, Huntington Bank, and WBNS-TV in Columbus, and supporting this cause at ohiostatebuckeyes.com/BuckeyesCare. And welcome back to our show this week in advance of Ohio State facing Auburn Saturday in Atlanta. We'll go back to our Union Home Mortgage inbox questions. Mike in Findlay, and he asked, there's been a lot written and discussed about the future of multi-team events and if it's good or bad for teams. What is your philosophy on these, and do you see Ohio State participating in any of these beyond what's already on the future schedule?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I think certainly as there's a lot of factors that go into play here. As conference realignment, is played a factor. Now more teams are playing more conference games. The evaluation tool for the NCAA tournament right, has been adjusted. That's a factor. So everybody's trying to figure out from a scheduling standpoint how to best position yourself for that. There's also, now players and NIL is a component in non-conference games. So there's a lot of moving parts here. I think for us, where we are constantly evaluating, right, because scheduling is so important. We're constantly evaluating what the future is going to look like. We want to be on the cutting edge of these things. So I'm not ready to say, one way or the other, yes or no, but I do think it's the scheduling model is shifting. It's just no one's specifically clear yet what the best new model is going to look like in the next couple years.
So, Coach, when you go in a young man's living room or whatever, watching them, talking to their parents or whatever, obviously you're playing in the Big Ten Conference. That brings what it brings. But how much do you talk about the non-conference and who you potentially will play to help them understand there's another reason to come to Ohio State? Yeah, we certainly discuss it. I don't know at the end of the day how big of a impact it has in recruiting, but I think our message is going to be moving forward is we're going to play one of the toughest schedules in the country. It's going to give you personally an opportunity to showcase what you can do, and then collectively it's what our team can do and how we stack up against other high quality teams. So and all really in helping us prepare for a Big Ten season. So yeah, I think it's something we certainly discuss. It's like us opening the season in Vegas against Texas on a day where there maybe was one or two other games of that quality was awesome. It was great for our guys, for our fans, and we want to continue to do things like that. It may not always fall on opening day, but we want to continue to do getting high-quality opponents in our building that aren't Big Ten teams is something we're passionate about too.
And Sam and Bill Fountain from the Union Home Mortgage inbox list of questions kind of on the same subject. He references the game in Vegas against Texas, but also this Saturday playing Auburn in Atlanta. The future of neutral site games, is that just something that's kind of seemingly in the near future always going to be there?
Yeah, I think that's going to continue to be a part of scheduling. I don't anticipate that going away. There really hasn't been any talk of those going away. If anything, those seem to be gaining more and more momentum. You look at the last couple of years of some of the marquee non-conference games, a lot of them are happening at neutral sites that aren't, coupled with necessarily 2 or 3 games in a row as part of an MTE. So there's been this shift where these are becoming more and more popular. We've got, essentially 3 of them, this year that are really, really good in great basketball venues. I think is another fun part. Our guys getting to experience playing in an NBA arena is something I think is great for them as well. So yeah, I anticipate that continuing to grow.
Coach, in terms, just update us again on if there's any changes. Like every 4 years, you can still go across the waters or take those type of trips. Just understand how you play that in your scheduling.
Yeah. So those are non-counter games, but every 4 years you get to go play abroad, and there's a practice component that's coupled with that gives you I think really now in today's landscape where you have so much change on your roster year to year is really valuable to get those extra practice days, and these exhibition games is important. So there was some discussion about being able to play some exhibitions outside of your typical kind of 2 to 3 week stretch preseason. That didn't go through this summer, but we'll see. It's a fascinating time in college athletics because there's a lot happening, a lot of change coming. And again, I'm just feel blessed to be at Ohio State where we're going to continue to be cutting edge in all of those areas.
Is it difficult to gauge what some of the competition level will be like with some of those overseas trips?
Yeah, it is. I think there's things that you can do to try to evaluate that ahead of time, but to some degree, that may not be the most important part of it. I think getting those practices in, and then also in addition to practices, being able to go against someone else is helpful.
Well, thank you as always, and we look forward to seeing you Saturday down in Atlanta.
All right, thanks, guys. Go Bucks.
All right, that's our Jake Diebler show this week. Thanks for listening. Our show brought to you by Roosters and also statewide by Encova Insurance, the American Dairy Association Mideast, and by Credit Union of Ohio. Join us Saturday as Ohio State faces Auburn in Atlanta. Our pregame coverage starts at 12:15 p.m. For Skip Ossick, Colin Behringer, Ron Stokes, and Coach Jake Diebler. This is Paul Keels. Thanks for listening to the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center for the team physicians for Ohio State athletics.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
The nightmare of the cleared drain. Those drain clearing specials from the other guys seem like a great deal until you realize the only thing really going down your drain is your money. At the Waterworks, we mean clean. Our service doesn't just clear your drains, it cleans them too. It's done right the first time, so that nightmare of a drain becomes a dream come true. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call 614-232-2222 to get started.
Make the most of your holidays with the Kroger app. You can enjoy over $600 in digital coupons every week. Get access to low prices and earn fuel points to save up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. The Kroger app makes it easy to save this holiday season. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Savings may vary by state. Fuel restrictions apply.
Save on Private Selection Angus 90% lean ground sirloin. 1 pound packages are $5.99 each with your card and digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Hey, it's Anthony, and the Happy Honda Days are powering through the holidays at Germain Honda of Dublin. Rich is delivering all of the new Honda toys, including the new Prologue, the first all-electric SUV from Honda at 0% APR up to 72 months. Also, he's throwing you 0.9% up to 60 months on most new Hondas. And he won't even require a payment on the new purchases for 90 days. Go get the Honda of your holiday dreams with my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road just south of 270.
Streaming December 19th.
Something really terrible has been happening to all the people I've had sex with. They're kind of dying.
It's a love story with a body count. Starring Stephanie Hsu and Zasha Mamet.
Dating is already impossible, and now people are dying. It's like, can you? I cannot.
Laid, a new comedy series. Streaming December 19th, only on Peacock.
I think I have to